I thought it would be easier to be Millie because I feel like that's who I am. Like, I was such a nerd in high school and just a dork and didn't fit in. And I thought that would be simple because it's like me.
Hi, I'm Caitlin from Student Edge. How are you going?
I'm going great. How are you?
Yes,
Yeah.
congratulations on the film. I'm good. I hope I'm speaking to the actual Kathryn Newton and not Vince Vaughn, the butcher in Kathryn Newton's body, because that would be terrifying.
No promises. I could be Vince. I'm just playing.
No, don't start freaking me out. So you've got to tell me what's harder, being a teenage girl or a middle-aged murderer? Because you're like the only person in the entire universe that can answer that question now.
Oh my gosh, it is totally being a teenage girl. The killer has a one-track mind. He's not even thinking about anything else. I mean, gosh, girls are so complicated as it is. I think that it's much harder to be a teenage girl. Even like just as an actor in those scenes, I thought it would be easier to be Millie because I feel like that's who I am. Like, I was such a nerd in high school and just a dork and didn't fit in. And I thought that would be simple because it's like me. But for some reason, the butcher ended up being like easier at the end of the day because I only had to think about one thing, which is just kill.
Yeah, well, I totally get that. Being a teenage girl is hard. And this movie is so much fun, but it also seems wildly challenging to have to play two different characters. How did this role help you grow as an actress?
Oh, you're right. It definitely did help me grow. I mean, I got to work with some people that I really look up to. I mean, Chris Landon, our director, I got to work with him on Paranormal Activity 4 back in the day, and Jason Blum also produced that. So I've been dying to work with him again because I grew so much on that movie, and I learned a lot about horror films and like telling a story through just your eyes. And then to get the opportunity to play two roles was mind blowing because that never happens. And then to get to work with someone I'm a huge fan of. I was just blown away at like the idea of getting to work with Vince Vaughn. And then when I actually met him, the first time I met him was actually in a dance rehearsal. We were learning the Blissfield Butcher chant. And
oh my gosh.
But like
dance rehearsal.
Yeah. And it was so funny. And so immediately he was down and like we were both going to make a fool of ourselves on this. And he came with so many great ideas. So I was so inspired by him and what he brought to both of these characters. And we created like mannerisms and physicalities to like ground ourselves in.
Okay, everyone's tired. We've done lots of hitting. It's time to talk. Hail, hail, Blissfield high. Chomp, chomp, chomps, our battle cry. When our beavers come to fight, feel our glory and our might.
It was so funny because when I found out he was going to be in the movie too, I like started watching all these Vince Vaughn movies and I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to imitate Vince Vaughn. This is going to be impossible. Like, so iconic. And I was like, wrong. I was completely wrong because that's not we were both coming together to play two roles. So it changed everything. And then like on set, I could ask him, like, do you think that the butcher would hold a knife like this? Or how do you think I should do this like look? And he was always there to be supportive like that. And, you know, that's when you have someone like him who's so brilliant and like he's so good at improv. It was like my best scenes are when I actually got to act with him, like when he was Millie and I was the butcher, because we were able to like just go. And Chris Landon, you know, he gave us that freedom. And without him, it would have been a different movie. We needed Chris to help us, you know?
Yeah, well, you do an absolutely amazing job in this film. Thank you so much for your time, Kathryn.
Thank you. Good day.
See ya.
See ya.
Good day.
Good day.